Alright, ready to see the next group?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Alright, next one is Seocheon Country Club. Oh no. I already get told bad things about country clubs.
Well, just because it's bad in our country doesn't mean it's bad in Korea.
Well, we'll find out. Alright, overview. Seocheon Country Club is a group of interests whose identity and location are unclear. Based on fragments of data, it is considered that Seocheon Country Club refers both to a specific extra-dimensional space associated with the Seocheon flower fields from Korean mythology, and to a gathering of independent entities operating from this space. Whether they are hostile or threatening, their scale and purpose of activities are currently unknown. However, judging from SCP's and persons of interest with suspected relations to Seocheon Country Club, it is certain that some of them are powerful reality benders or mythological entities. The Museum Department and NTF Unit Shondo 9,000-year elder are closely tracking this Seocheon Country Club. I almost read this as something else.
That's okay. We remember your dyslexia.
No. When I was gonna... I stopped myself, but I was going to say the Muslim
Like I
department.
said, you have dyslexia. We kind of expect you to make mistakes.
Alright, Jerry.
The Muslim department.
Alright, Jerry, since I had you guess the last one, guess how many SCPs are connected to it?
5. I'm probably wrong. Probably 1.
1. Not even sure it's SCP. Oh, it's part of the Wanderer's Library.
Oh.
That's horrifying.
Oh.
In this world, we walk the roof of hell, gazing at the flowers.
And then there's that.
That
Photograph taken in the state of Bahrain. Is that how you pronounce that? Bahrain? Or should I look that up?
Go on.
Huh?
Yeah, if you want to, Jerry.
I kind of want to because I don't like mispronouncing things.
That's fair. But this image is terrifying. I'm just gonna go down. It's just
Is there something
unsettling.
about the picture I'm missing?
Do you not see the creepy image?
Sorry.
It's fine.
Do you know? Exasperatedly says, "Do you not see the creepy image?" The answer is burp.
Gulf and is an archipelago made of artificial country in Bahrain.
Bahrain. Okay. Bahrain. Okay. Photograph taken in the state of Bahrain, May 19th, 2015. Presumed to be the pox demon. Paranormal historian, not hysterian. Paranormal historian, I have no idea to pronounce that, is staying in a place I can't pronounce for a short period of time to conduct research on it. If you want to know the progress and trace the study, please ask me or Liu directly. I don't know if I even pronounced that name right.
I like the symbol.
It's really pretty. Mark found in most of the groups related to Viral. God damn. You know what? You read that. You read that chaos.
Variomancers?
I have no idea.
Aliens.
Alright. I guess you want me to read the rest, Jerry?
Yeah. Sorry.
That's fine. Alright, traits. Pox demon is a spiritual being that has been considered the source of epidemics, such as smallpox in many countries around the world. Oh.
Fun.
So he's basically a natural force of nature and the.
Yeah. To nail down in advance, it is not logical to seek the root of every epidemic from the pox demon. If that were the truth, it could have been built a country or two just by the number of them. Yeah. The appearance of the pox demon varies from individual to individual, appearing in literature to a variety of forms, ranging from formless beings to demons to just simple humans. It is not clear if this is part of their cognitive distortion capability, but it is possible to be inferred that there is no fixed form of themselves. Nature. There are two main types of pox demons. The first case is called pox ghosts, and the second case is called pox deity. Pox ghost is a typical example of a vengeful soul, a category in which ectoplasm has grown into a malevolent spirit. It is said to emphasize spiritual aspects far more than the type of pox deity, and is held full of grudge in many cases. The obvious difference between pox ghosts and ordinary or sinful phantoms is that the object of vengeance of the former does not exist from the beginning. So if the common phantoms are in assassin mode, does that mean these guys are in berserker mode from the very beginning? They also seem to have little preference for a means of possession and sometimes wander in groups. Intelligence is present, but rarely expressed because of its characteristic aggression and eccentricity. Eccentricity. What kind of? You know what comes to mind when you think of ghosts? The mouth is open, as if torn open, and it laughs, shaking its scarfy in one blonde hair into a sinister choice, grotesquely moving around in those conditions. Like the old one behind you right now. Oh, come on. These footnotes are amazing. Alright, the Grim Phantoms, or Yogui of Joseon, different types of different forms from Book of Sand and Rock. They only face pox demons in Kasuga Gongen Genki-e, Yuzu and Butsu, Enki and Maki. Oh, that's a broken link. Number dot 0091. I wonder if it's necessary to call it in. Redact this term. There's no proper substitute, really. Don't know his real name, and it would be odd to call him just a pox demon for this, etc. Are examples of pox ghosts. In these types, it was believed that the Grim Phantoms were beings become by who had died a victimized death, just as ordinary vindictive ghosts are, and their resentment, mortification, and loneliness make them accumulate vexuous energy, damaging the harmony and therefore causing an unusual calamity. This calamity is soon represented by an outbreak of pox. When the disease spread to Joseon, an exorcistical robe was sent to prevent people from entering or leaving the area, and at the same time, the supernatural response organizations, at the time such as Nazi Task Force and its successor, it's the Abomination Guard. Is this supposed to be the MTF and GOC?
I don't know.
In short, is this the organization responding to the Gongyo Association? I think they fit more with the Bureau of Onmyo. They're the Confucian Taliban, so to speak, and the right combination of jailers and book burners. Okay, so most likely. Send their personnel to deal with the situation. Alright, the spiritual year of the Black Cow. Case number 2. Description. Pox Ghost appeared in Jola Providence. Person in charge, entrusted Lord Bang Yun, the Anti-Abomination Guard Inspector. Conclusion. After an engagement with Anti-Spiritual Battalion, the exorcism is executed. State of affair, added to the secret records and closed the case. Scholarly says this time when we investigated smallpox that had spread throughout the land of Chiola, we found that its aura was bad and contained full of resentment. It was clear that something evil was happening. In response, the official documents were sent to the officials of the Chiola region, having them investigate local priestesses one by one to gather the facts that they had ascertained, and it soon became clear that there was a powerful pox demon in the area. This pox ghost is an entity that spreads plague among people, and its roots are truly ancient and unfathomable. Immediately consulting the Anti-Abomination Guard records. This is a book written by the Taoist who served in a not-sane task force in the Anti-Abomination Guard. The existence of abominations called the Guest and Headless Demon are documented. My guess is that the analogous entities were existed from this Silla period. If true, they would have appeared very frequently from long ago until recently. Anti-Spiritual Battalion will soon reach its destination. They would perform a special ritual to ward off the Pox Ghost as soon as they arrive. Addendum. During the ritual, a Pox Ghost ran rampant and affected several villagers with smallpox. Battalion exorcised it. Pox deity is a group of deities worshipped by the people. That means there's some kind of slip ghost, right? No, wrong. But the so-called celeb title is very powerful in the world of worship. Including Gosu Tenno and Hosogami of Japan, Sopana of Yoruba religion, Shitala of India, Shaoxin Nainang of China, and Pazuzu of ancient Mesopotamian religion. However, this example could change at any time, since the illustrations of Pox deities in history books bear a striking resemblance to the figures of Variomancers and Sarkites. Oh no. Why them? It is not surprising that the beings now presumed to be Pox deities are revealed to be some of them. My personal opinion, Pox deities and fleshies are equally full of annoyances. The serpent's hand calls the Sarkics fleshies. I was not prepared for that. I'm sorry. I'll continue.
You're good.
Laugh away.
Even Pox ghosts can belong to Pox deities if it becomes an object of worship, in which case it becomes more powerful than before. Pox deities are usually able to spread plague over a wider area, making them generally more threatening than Pox ghosts. This is attributed to the increase in Akiva radiation due to worship, and it is thought to be influenced not only by worship of their own beings, but also by the worship of the result of their actions, the plague itself. The obvious characteristic of Pox demons is their manipulation on plants spreading of disease. This ability is presumed to be due to a reality bending based on pure psychic ability, rather than having developed out of sarcasm. As in Variomancers, which will be discussed below. They rarely abuse abilities, and according to some illustrations, seem to enjoy the act itself. History and associated parties. There are certain entities that are indispensable when discussing the history of the Fox demons, and these are the very Variolomancers, as the name implies. Variolomancers are the thaumatologists who operate in Variolomancy that manipulates disease, and the origin of it can be sought in the guest, which is a broken link. Great.
I love broken links.
Oh no, I already see something further ahead. The guest was a group composed of 3 followers of Naka. If it doesn't explain what Naka is, I won't. Well, see, I told you, do not rewrite it as circuit, please. I got it. It's kind of an occupational disease, sweetheart. You just want to call it that way. Okay, so it doesn't explain. Naka is the eldritch god of instinct that tried to get rid of free will, but McCain stopped them and died doing so.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. I wasn't sure if you knew that, Hatchet. Like, that was their name.
Yeah.
Yeah, alright. From the late Deva and one Cillian, formed when the former 3 were expelled from Deva and exiled to Scylla, one of the ancient Korean kingdoms. They were the main exponents of the Variomancy based in the Nalka Hemomancy. Although Hemomancy, or flesh crafting, focuses on bodily bodily deformation, using blood as a primary ingredient, the Variolomancy they use is more similar to reality bending than such a mechanism, and bodily deformation as an unintended byproduct of this process. In Daywhite Thaumaturgy. At the time of my initial investigation, I thought the Variolomancy could only control smallpox because of its name, but grasped that it is capable of controlling typhus and other infectious diseases. The guests themselves were thought to presumably persist in smallpox, though. Is typhus an actual disease?
Huh? Typhus?
Yeah, I've never heard of it.
Yeah, it's an actual disease.
Typhoid.
Typhoid?
Typhus fevers are a group of diseases caused by bacteria that are spread by humans.
You've
Spread
never
to
heard?
humans by fleas, lice, and chiggers. That's an uncomfortable word to say.
Never heard of
God.
Typhoid Mary?
No. Well, you learn
Have you
something
heard
new
of
every day.
Typhoid fever?
Nope.
It wiped out so many people, and I thought you were a history major.
Again, I will say, my school did not teach everything. The main diseases we learned were smallpox, influenza, and the bubonic plague, and Spanish flu, and that was it.
Bruh.
I learned about it outside of school because it was such a historical thing that wiped out so many people. In fact, Typhoid Mary was literally a carrier who showed no symptoms, who refused to believe that her cooking for anyone infected anyone. That's how she infected so many people, by not washing her hands all the time and basically denying all ability to infect people because she never believed she was infected.
Oh, I almost forgot there was another disease. The White Death.
Tuberculosis, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, there's lots of diseases that affected history, but typhoid is one of the big swingers. That's like...
You didn't... Wait, they didn't even talk about yellow fever?
No. I know what that is,
That
but
was
I've
like-
never taught about it.
Wait, they didn't?
No.
That's like another really important one. This
What
fucking...
about scarlet fever?
No.
You know what? Why don't we just get back to this? And
Yeah. I
I
actually had to
heard-
learn one on my own, which was polio. They refused to teach about that.
Let me just. I'm not going to look up the history of typhoid, but I'm just going to copy and paste the symptoms. Then I'm just going to do the same thing with the others.
Okay, then I'll just
Part of
continue
me
reading.
hurts.
Anyways, fuck American education. Anyways.
It's ironic. Pretty sure Bright would be particularly susceptible to scarlet fever, considering how many times you've gotten strep.
Yeah.
I even got into my muscles once.
Scarlet fever is a bacterial illness that develops in some people who have strep throat, also known as scarlatia. Scarlet fever features a bright red rash that covers most of the body. Scarlet fever almost always includes a sore throat and a high fever.
I have copied a very basic description for all three. And I will grab one picture for each, which will be, of course,
Spoiled.
something you'll need to click on because I would not show pictures that are undiluted.
Yeah. Anyways, I guess I'll go back to the SCP. Anyways. Their ideology was to build an ideal society in which people do not oppress each other. And they used the Verliomancy to achieve this goal. They believed that the smallpox infection could select strong people who would not ostracize others. They infected people with the disease to some people who are
Build an ideal society in which people do.
They infected people with disease intentionally. Then again, this is talking about Sarkics and Davites, which makes sense. What? Does this make sense? I got blown away when I first heard it too. Even the servant's head is confused. It is unclear.
There's another
Huh?
footnote.
Yeah, I got blown away too.
Isn't
Yeah, 19 was the one we read about typists. So yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, I was thinking you didn't look at 20.
Yeah. No, I was just reading what they said. What does this make sense? Yeah. That's why I said that someone's hand's even confused. Yeah, it is unclear whether it was because of this ideology, but the Verliomancers didn't confine themselves only to the Korean Peninsula, but also around the Central and East Asian regions. This has resulted in the birth of organizations inspired by them in various countries. The representative organizations of Verliomancers in the Ethics of Flower School. In China, smallpox is euphemistically called Tianhua, which means heaven's flower. Their name is thought to derive from this. Of China, Clan Hoso of Japan, and Seolga of Korea. Ethics of Flower School is known for its Confucian view of Verliomancy's ideological background, and it became a member of the Abnormal Objects and Phenomena Institute of China in later generations. Not much is specifically known about them, but it's assumed that this is because they became prime targets of Queen oppression. They were not only institute themselves, also decayed due to Queen's oppression. Epidemic never benefits this country, you know. Moreover, they wouldn't have looked sweet judging by their affiliation, which involved the customs and principles of the old country. Written documents only contained 1 or 2 lines of information about the ethics of Flower School, So there is no detailed information on the rank and members within the group, only the narrative of Song Langshi, the supposed founder of the Ethics of Flower School, stands out. Song Langshi was a Taoist in the early period of 5 dynasties and 10 kingdoms, and is said to have been basically skilled in the art of life extension and shapeshifting. In 915, when the guests were on their way to southern Siberia via Yan State, they would have tried to return to their own homeland, redacted. He blocked their way and asked them to try a thaumaturgy face-off, but the confident Sung soon failed miserably. The inevitable if one just used thaumaturgy, the other had mastered the Nakahomancy and the art of Deva and Variomancy. Well, in the case of the head of Solgla mentioned below, it is possible to counteract them with Homeomancy alone, so I suppose that there is a difference in strength of the individuals. They asked him to teach him a lesson. After this, Sung came and went between the borders of Yang State and Khitan, gathering power and establishing the Poxy Aid Association, the forerunner of the Ethics of Flower School, which would develop into a group that would last for generations of his descendants. The clan Hoso is a well-known family that has been dealing with the Pox demons since before they met the guest, is a member of Shushu Inn, and has reported been in existence since at least since 773. When the guests first came to Japan in 995, Hoso Turutora, the clan's head of the time, met with them and realized the beauty of the true Variomancy in its resplendence. And 3 days of question and answer. Considering their behavior, I think it would be some kind of hint that they just knocked the stuffing out of them, you know? You have a gift historian, which is not recorded in any literature, so secretly the clan Hoso members handed and passed down this art from generation to generation. One noteworthy thing is the method they use for Variomancy. Unlike the guests who cause frequent smallpox infections, they are truly comparable to the pox demons. The clan Hoso, unlike them, attempted to prevent the spread of smallpox and other epidemics within Japan. It suggests that the knowledge derived from the guests may have been altered as it was passed down. Existing records show that both their lifestyle and their use of Variomancy had only a slight narcotic color, and there were no part of intentional attempt to infect pox. Their belief differed from the value-neutral academic perspective of the Ethics of Flower School and the radical social reformist ideology of the guests, but rather displayed a protective and therapeutic character. After the Kanai Great Famine, descriptions of them changed dramatically. In general, the surname Hoso is rarely found in records of the post-famine Shushuin. In this situation, in the same of the records of the pox-related collections for which they were originally responsible, instead the position was filled by a group with the surname. How the hell do I say this? Nikaho? I'm gonna go with Nikaho. Anyways, Nikaho, which is considered a variant of Hoso. In fact, a researcher named Nikaho Jichi, who appears in one record, mentions the darkness of his predecessor and mentions the name Hoso Toratora. It seems certain that the Hosos and Nikahos are the same kins, as inferred from the honorific title Grandshire. He added, the Seolga is a proto-Nalka group of the Korean Peninsula, whose history began with the late Silla. However, unlike the other two above groups, it is hostile to the guests and is only one that does not use the Variomancer's seal for the groups influenced by them. Their head, Shou Young, birth and death dates are known. They were an immigrant from Song, who settled in Lake Silla. They are assumed to be the one involved in the Nalka diaspora, or a descendant of it. The original presumed rank in Nalka was Karcist. In records, they're mainly referred to as Sol Shinin. Drove them out after engaging in a battle, and perhaps because of this, one of the main activities of the Sol Gates was to exterminate the pox demons. They regularly launch nationwide involvements to clean up pox demon by estimating periodic plague outbreaks. Of course, doing this does not seem to have completely eradicated the plague. They have been perfectly prevented those measles, smallpox, dysentery, and other contagious diseases would have never have been recorded in history of the Korean Peninsula. And the root of the plague is not only just the pox demons, basically. Except for a few periods when they themselves were in great danger. Great Famine of 1670 and 1671 in Korea is a typical example. Solga seems to have been engaged in these kinds of relief works. According to the Book of Rajna, rumors of pox demons exterminators could be heard throughout the country until before 1912. However, perhaps in part because of this rumor, the Imperial Japanese Anomalous Matters Examination Agency, the IJAMEA, at the time began gathering information on Solga as part of the Operation Kutaku 3. Then in the summer 1912, 2 platoons from IJAMEA branch office in Korea, under the direction of the main office, went into action, resulting in the invasion of the Seoul Gate village named Seoul Hamlet, which had existed on the top of Mount Jiri. Oh.
Jiri's got a mountain.
Yeah.
Wait, what? What? Where?
which had existed on top of Mount Jiri. There's a mountain.
Oh, God. What? What?
Jiri's so shocked.
Well, I wasn't expecting that. I was half paying attention because I was grabbing the history of various giant diseases in American history.
Yeah. Anyways.
Oh my gosh, Mount Jiri! Oh no, I can't say it like that. I can't say it like that. Mountain Jiri. Let's never say it as Mount Jiri.
Anyways, which had existed on the top of Mount Jiri.
Oh god.
Mountain. Only mountain.
I was about to ask, like, what's wrong with MTG, the full statement, and then like I said it in my head, and I was like, oh gods, oh no.
Anyways, this made me hard to put to it to do research on Solga. According to the Book of Rajna, more than half of the villagers were shot dead on the spot or taken to bases under the command of IJMEA branch office in Korea. Again, not surprised I'm from that group. Anyways. If I remember correctly, IJMEA basically wants to bring back the Empire of Japan. 30 years of anomalies, if I remember correctly.
My goodness.
So I'm not surprised. Anyways. Thereafter, the activities of Seoul Gates declined markedly and have continued to the present day. The existence of such organizations suggests that the fact that the pox demons have been part of the human history for a very long time, and just as mundane world's people eventually found a solution to disease, people in the anomalous one also have dealt with it in their own way. Alright, approach pox demons are entities basically dedicated solely to spreading pestilence, a vicious grudge, and evil spirits that do not even feel guilty about their actions. If you encounter one, you should leave the area immediately. It is also recommended to visit nearby medical facilities. It sounds like a joke, but there's no guarantee that you won't get sick if you encounter a real pox demon, and nothing you can do if you contract a disease that isn't understood by modern medicine. There isn't a way to drive them out. Our own review of documents concerning pox demons and the Fiery Answers revealed the existence of an art of Poxdemon's termination. What appears to be in common in each culture, however, its descriptions in literature are all different, and there's no way to confirm whether the technique is effective when implemented. It would have been easy to encounter Poxdemons in times like these in the first time, which has led to a heated debate among scholars to this day. The most reliable and effective way is to threaten with a red presence of any kind. It is said that in all cultures, Poxdemons are said to fear the color red, and in particular, people from the clan Nikaho or Nikaho always wore red clothes, perhaps to ward off them. I thought they all just liked red. If so, the story recorded in Nishi in Shinshishi of newspaper Shiki in 1875 that the girl in red clothes riding a rickshaw in Redacted and disappeared before one knows. Does this mean that she was from clan Nikaho? Oh wait, are these stories from different groups? Wait a minute, hold on. Where's the symbol?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, here we go. Here's from this group right here. This is what we were looking for with this group. Alright.
So in other words, because you lacked the ability to double check what you were looking at,
Yeah.
we just sat here and listened to an unrelated document for like what 15 minutes at the very least, probably more.
And because of her meandering through it, you heard the line "Mount Jiri."
It was worth it for that. Anyways.
Okay,
right.
yeah, that's fair actually.
Anyways, here's a footnote for this group. Never seen this before. Where does this belong? Seishun Country Club, a resort for all the deities and monsters of the world, is located in Jeju Island. Is the current residence of Kim Seo-hyun, member of the Guest. It reminds me of the three... I can't tell if this is supposed to be a T or a J. A company or the Tonyo Yokai Sanctuary. Alright. Do you know the Poxdemons, you ask? You asked me an unusual question, Miss Lu. Of course, I know I've been watching them for a very long time. Could be almost a lifetime. Pox ghosts were among the most bothersome of all the demons to my masters, with their irrational behavior and indiscriminate brutality being rather nuisances. More than one, the area's punishments and routes have been intervened by those ghosts. Judging by his saying, it seems both Pox ghosts and Pox deities are commonly referred to just as Pox ghost. Well, they didn't need to extinguish them, basically. For that reason, I have removed or killed them so that no one will be taken unexpectedly. Such secret arts are often used in the Chushuen, especially when dealing with the collections that are associated with the Pox ghosts, such as number 9901 and number 1175. The combination of Ferromancy and suppressive charms should be treated as strong chain to bind a Pox ghost. The number 9991, which was suppressed by researcher Nikaho Kinshishiro, was imprisoned by suppression technique in 1820. That is relatively weak, so there are many times when it escaped from its collective state. Therefore, at the end of 1919, the ER became a researcher again and constructed the technique. I don't have the opportunity to execute such works as they are when I joined the Imperial Japanese Anomalous Matters Examination Agency, but used some of them when I carried out the Operation Hakutaku 3. And the subsequent measures, it seems the agency had knowledge of Pox ghosts even before I proposed this project. From 1870 onward, the Meiji government's demand for measures against smallpox and Sholera led to the creation of a department within the agency to study these types. Well, now I regret that could not push the project forward to the end. 2 years after the proposal was made, I left the agency in 1919 and 1920. For all years, cholera was rampant in Korea. I was in Japan from September 1919.
Wait.
Huh?
What did you say?
Cholera?
Where is it? Cholera.
Cholera. Ah,
You don't know what cholera is?
no?
Is that another disease I'll have to look up?
At this point, like, if this was turned into a YouTube video, the title would just need to be Bright Doesn't Know What Diseases Are.
Shut up. Anyways, I was in Japan from
Aaron, I mean, fuck.
I was in Japan from September 1919 to September 1923. I owe you an apology. They crossed my mind the memories of yore. If you ask me whether or not the technique still can be useful, the answer is yes. However, it takes a long time to learn, as you must have a basic knowledge of the suppression technique and rudiments in the area of radiomancy. The Nikaho people learned this from an early age, which is why they were able to handle it as well as I did. You have to be prepared to take that long. Perhaps the book of Frajna that it gave you may be of use. Little guest, Kim Shil-hyun. Shushuin, I'm sorry to say, but what he just said sounds so familiar. In Book of Frajna, how could he know that? Because he is the Nikaho Hana, I guess? What? Yes, I have to apologize first. You guys are really diligent in your research, so I kept quiet so as not to disturb you. Nikaho Hana, Master Shen, and Kim Shil-hyun are the same person. After returning from America, I suppose I need to add a few things. The whole world would be right, not just America. Redacted. Severely. It's not only active in the United States, you know. It's a large ass redacted.
Okay.
Herman's Fuller Circus of Disquieting? He really got around about that. Wait, is this supposed to be Herman Fuller's of Disquieting?
Maybe.
Kim Shil-hyun. Translator note. Read. That. In Mikun Rush Hour romanization, it is written as that. Turned to clan Nakaho and was appointed to Shushuin. After that, it is as you guys have looked into. He worked until 1919, then returned to the Shushuin, and a few years later, he terrorized the base of IJMEA branch office in Korea. He was then captured and engaged in labor on Utsushima Island. He implied that he had done something else after the end of World War II, but I could not ask him for details. The agency might be an independence movement after all. Could be he had been ashamed of his days at the agency, probably until even now. I could hear the word everywhere. Sounds like he's the one like me. May not have been able to escape from the yoke either. Meanwhile, the clan Nakaho seems to be still choosing to go into hiding. The only person known for certain to be descendant of the Nakahos is Nakaho Maya, who currently attends as a first-year student in Hanakago School. She is known as the great-granddaughter of Nakaho Kenjiro, the brother of Nakaho Satsuo mentioned above. After contacting her, we found that she had no understanding of the characteristics of her clan or the principles of Phronomancy itself. I don't think we should be hasty. These are people who have lived in hiding from the paranormal world for more than 80 years. Since they are already in their 4th generation, it's likely they have been pre-educated to keep the secret. They may be hiding it from us on purpose. We are currently tracking down the descendants of the clan Nakaho, or where the traces of them may still exist. So, From this information, they were trying to get rid of pox demons, which is a good thing. So what they do. But I kind of feel bad that they were captured by the IJMEA. Because they were an evil group.
Like the actual description of the group that was mentioned here in this article
Yeah.
basically kind of just paints it as being a place for various mythological and other beings to chill, and then they occasionally do other things.
I think
They
probably
sound
be
like
neutral.
A pretty neutral group,
Yeah, neutral.
Also, what
Yeah.
was one disease Bright didn't know that I hadn't listed? I'm done with scarlet fever.
Gotcha. So, just which neutral?
I'd be feeling a lawful neutral.
Yeah,
if not
that
true
sounds
neutral.
fair.
Yeah.
Both sound good.
Yeah.
Alright. At first, when I saw Country Club, I thought it was going to get really bad.
Yeah. It's a country club in the loosest sense. The main thing that makes like actual country clubs bad is the mixture of basically club for the super wealthy, designed to help insulate them from the struggles of the world, as well as the fact that like they're basically always based around golf primarily being a very ecologically destructive sport.
I'm very happy to have been surprised. Also,